release, thank you. Hello YouTube. So we're here gliding to our ridge. There's about 15-20 knots of wind directly onto our ridge. I released at 1500 feet above the ground. I've lost 200 feet so far and I'm nearly there, so we had a nice street to travel out on. I was going to stop and test my pneumatics. I've been playing with them a little bit. Amount of traffic, Golf Oscar Papa vacating the MBZ to the east, switching 13355. Nope, still getting the G-forces. I don't know what's going on. Ooh, got a lift. The Vario itself is matching what I'm feeling, so when I hit left it goes up 7 knots. That's pretty good. Woo! That is a thermal and ridge. Up we go. This is what we call the elevator. You can see why. Nine knots in a straight line. You can see why I slowed down for it. Right, now we're going to speed up. Now we're going to get around Te Aroha. This causes a lot of, the wind wraps around it. So, got to get through this. There's usually quite a bit of sink and turbulence to get through here. Nose down, we're going to motor. It's worth giving it a wide berth and then drop down into it onto those front faces once we're clear of the turbulence. That should be enough. Alright, once we get onto these slopes, we'll be going up again, so we can slow down again here. Wow, we just finished coming back from up north there, here at Thames, and got a wicked climb here. I'm not doing a very good job staying centered in it, but we gotta climb. How can I not go that way? It is lined up for us. So we'll just get up to cloud base and then track along the street and see how far we can go. Do we even need to finish climbing to the top? I don't know if we do. Let's just head off. We should climb as we go along here. Still going up at 5 knots in a straight line with no end in sight. Thames traffic, Glider Golf Oscar Papa is 2 miles southeast of the field, 2,900 feet, tracking west.
It's a great run along there, son.
Yeah, it looks amazing. What are we now? 2,600 feet. I'm still expecting to climb as we go along here. Not sure if this is a convergence. I think it's just a street. There's not much indication of any wind going this way over the ocean there, but it's just formed up real good. Wow, what a great run that was. Straight into wind. The only problem was the cloud base is getting lower and lower as I was going. Down to 2,200 feet back there, and it's just getting too low to go any further and too hazy. It gets the air is drying out as it travels over the land here. And then the cloud base goes up. So I started at 3.5 or so, and then down to 2,200 at the interwind end. So we turned around, heading back. What's quite nice, it'll make a nice triangle. So we've gone up the coast over here, come here, and then we'll go back down the ridge and end up with a, well, not a huge triangle, but better than nothing. I'm only 2,300 feet, but you can see I've got the street I just came along. There's some sinky bits on it, of course, because there's hills underneath us, so the wind's bouncing over the hills and making some areas that are good and some areas that are bad. What's my ground speed? 87 knots, and I'm travelling 65, so yeah, it's 16 knots of wind, my GPS says. That sounds about right. But now I need to get back up high. See, this cloud's a bit higher. I want to get back up to cloud base to be safe. Often the streets work best when you're up at cloud base, so I'm just going to climb here and make sure that I get back up. You can go from 2,000 feet to being in trouble pretty quickly. Woo, up we go. Oh, it's gusty. Alright, there we go, 2.5. That gives me way more height to play with. Let us continue. Wow, I'm trekking my way along here. We're down to 2,000 feet though. I'm glad I topped up when I did. The whole street's moved over towards the ocean, so that doesn't normally help the updrafts. I'm wondering if that is giving off heat, or this whole thing has died and I'm not going to get any lift as I come along here, and will I get back to the ridge? I've got the wind helping, so that's a good thing, but there's a lot of sink too. It's all turning to custard. Got lots of paddocks, I've got my engine, fuel's on, and always crank it up if I need to, but let's try and figure out what's happening. We've got hills behind us. That was a big lot of sink there. Probably some wavy stuff interfering with it. So hopefully if we just keep going downwind, it'll get better and better. 1500 feet. I'm going to have to decide if I start my engine shortly. Lots of paddocks right here, so I'm not feeling too worried about it. Interesting. Oh, that's better. That's what we want. I'll just keep going. Slightly nervous about this situation. 1500 feet. I've now got glide to Thames Airfield, which is at the base of the hills there, so that makes me feel better, and that's with a 500 foot margin. Shouldn't need it. Look at this cloud right above us. But things change. It might be, the whole thing might be dying here. It might have drifted too far off land. It might have shaded itself out, so the cold air from the water there and the grassland there is in shadow now, so thanks to the angle of the sun. So that might explain it. Up ahead we've got quite a lot of area here still in sun, so that's probably feeding it. I should be able to get something there. I think we'll be alright. If we get to this farmland here, the airfield's straight ahead. That's what we want. Slightly positive air. It's a wind speed 17 knots. Right, better get on the right frequency to talk to Thames. What are they? 1, 2, 4, 5. Thames traffic, Delta Golf Oscar Papa. It's 2 miles west of the airfield, 1200 feet. Tracking towards the Kaimai range. Thames traffic, Delta Golf Oscar Papa overhead the field, thermaling through 1300 feet. Righto, that's enough to get onto the hills there and continue. I only stopped to climb there a little bit just because the clouds don't look amazing just here. There's no streak going onto the hills, so there'll be heat coming off, and what have we got? 15 knots of wind. So it's kind of marginal to work well. That aircraft was flying through here. I think he's already gone past. I saw him briefly. And Golf Oscar Papa is just above you, have you in sight.
Sure, sir. Will remain at 3,700 for now.
Woo! See the helicopter fly past, that was pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to head into the hills here, make sure we get ridge lift. Slow down a touch, make sure we climb along here. Always that debate, do you go for the front ridge or back further? Well, it's just a bit low to... We'll just stick to the front ones so it's not quite so bumpy. We'll just trick along here. It's reasonably buoyant still. We've got plenty of heat coming off the ground like that. There's clouds above us, so I think we'll be alright. Oh yeah, there we go. Just need a couple of bits like that and we're away. I see the streets are sort of breaking up, falling apart. I wonder if it's just getting too late in the day. Probably get over to the other side of these lower hills over here at about 1,000 feet, which is acceptable. Don't want to get too much lower than that. Alright, as expected, got over here, 900 feet, nearly 1,000, and just arrived on these low slopes. As you can see, these slopes are working well. Just sped up just a fraction, so I'm near the ground. Oh, need some food. I bought some nuts with me. Here we go. A nice ridge to climb in. There's another glider. Up we go. This is the bowl. So it basically catches the wind even if it's off on a slight angle. This is pretty reliable at working well. Pretty steep slopes out to our left there. There's nowhere for the wind to go but up. Always a good place to top up before you try and cross the gap. Alright, that's enough climbing. Let us continue. Waihi Gap traffic. Glider Golf Oscar Papa is north of the Waihi Gap, 2,200 feet, tracking south. Watching. We've had a good flight, slightly unexpected, heading out under these streets. Nice to do something a bit different. I've got to pick up the glider now for an annuals, so we'll came back a little early so we have time to de-rig, so we'll go do that and pick up. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Catch you next time.
Traffic glider Sierra November, final 28, number 2.